Moving on now, the Council of State approves Professor Joash Amupitan as the new INEC chairman. And our guest this time is Malam Umar Aminu Kalgo. Malam Kalgo is a lawyer and public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Malam.
Mr. Folarin.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on. Is this how, as you expected? Because you know, when the announcement was first of all made, the point was made that there was nobody from the Council of State there and all of that. But now we see that they have overwhelmingly, unanimously adopted Mr. President's recommendation. Talk to me about that, please.
Mr. Folarin, it is interesting, you know, what election stands for, and Nigerians have every reason to keenly look at the issue of appointment of who would be the chairman of INEC. And that's what is transpiring in our community, in the society in Nigeria. You see the interest. But the law is very clear about appointment of INEC chairman. Section 154 is very clear. And Section 154 of the Constitution, sub 3, have mandated the president to consult, the word is consult, with the Council of State while appointing chairman of INEC and other agencies and commission and councils of the federal government. And with that, I just want us to appreciate what the law says. It is just a consult. And from what we have from the news and what we have been seeing, the Council of State was consulted. So the first leg of the procedure is already accomplished. What remains now is the confirmation by the Senate, yes, when he gets to appear before them.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Can you fathom a guess as to why we're hearing this now, that, as you've just said, the law does require consultation with the Council of State, but that, if it was done, it wasn't included in the initial press release, which led some people to begin to speculate. But now all the parameters are in place, leaving just the Senate to do its job. That whole idea about why is it that it couldn't be said at that time that the Council of State has been consulted and that they are in agreement? And so I'm now presenting it to you, my cabinet, before going on. Why it was not done one after the other? Do you have any? Can you fathom any guess, or do these things happen like that sometimes?
I have problem. I mean, the audio is not that audible, but if I get you right, I think it has to go with the word consult. The Council of State, its members is well known, and when it said consult, it means that the president needs to engage them and in telling them this is whom he nominated, or I can say who he appoints, because Section 2 of the principal section, which says that is 154 sub 2, says that appointment by the president subject to confirmation by the Senate. Yes. That's the main section that talks about appointment into the offices of chairman of many council and commissions in the federal executive. So with that, I think what is not stipulating that the council have to vote or okay, but it entails that it is something that is expected. And now where we find ourselves, I think is a comfortable place, because you didn't hear, there's no any voice saying otherwise from the Council of State so far.
Indeed.
So, yes.
Indeed. Well, this is a gentleman, youngish, so to speak, but the man is an SAN. He's also a lawyer, like your good self. And quite frankly, one has been hearing nothing but good things about him, especially from people in your fold, that is the MBA and professional lawyers. So I was wondering what you think. Is this somebody who is known to you professionally?
Professionally, I would say by virtue of the rule of engagement as a lawyer, I would say is known to me because I know him as an SAN for that matter, and level of excellence for an advocate to attain. But personally, I don't have any. I don't know him personally, so to say. Yes, but.
But I imagine, I can only imagine that when the announcement was made and a senior lawyer was being, tipped by the president for the post, I imagine that this would have made all lawyers refer to all the references that they have to find out if they didn't happen to know him even that well professionally, what the field thinks about this gentleman. The one thing
what I mean is that you see, the professor doubles up as a professor in law and as well as a senior advocate of Nigeria.
Yes.
And with such an accolade, one can tell that he has reached the highest level of professionalism in his chosen field of law. So what remains to say that I'm saying that, apart from all what there's this maybe personal interrelation that you have with someone. That's what I'm saying. I don't have any.
I understand.
I'm happy for him to be in that chair, and I think it also said a lot, and a lot of expectation would be on somebody who is an expert of the law to head such an important commission for the country.
Indeed. That is indeed the way it is. One thing that we've heard about it, in fact, I think from the very get-go, was this is a man who is seen as being apolitical. He's not known to, lean towards any political party per se. He's not been known in political circles. All of this sort of stands him in very good stead for the kind of job he's coming onto now, does it not?
Yes, that's the prerequisite of someone who is to be an umpire. An umpire in our polity, which is a democracy, you have competing parties, has to be apolitical. And just like many of the apparatus of the states needs to be apolitical for us to have a vibrant and good democracy. Some of the agencies have to be insulated. And I think that's a prerequisite. And without such prerequisite, he wouldn't have been nominated from the earlier stage. I just want to say that I am happy for him. And actually, he is stepping into a footprint of a giant. And the Nigerians are looking forward so that in the next 5 years, we would see he too is another giant.
Indeed. Speaking about Mahmoud Yakubu, who has just, finished his term, he brought many innovations. And as you say, he is rightly referred to as a giant in that particular field. And, well, we just wish for the best for the incoming, chairman. All other things being equal, that is assuming that Senate even, plays along, because it's not the truth is, there wouldn't have been a need for Senate to come into it if there was not the possibility that Senate could approve or not approve. Although many people sort of almost are taking it for granted that Senate will approve, but it is still a technicality in there. You must present this nomination to the Senate for them to have their own consideration and then come up with it. So this is entirely in order, right?
Yes, that's the system to ensure that it's a critical appointment, as we have already underlined that it is one of the most important institutions that guarantee a smooth exchange of power from one, government to another government. So in that case, that's why the Constitution was very explicit that there must be that the Senate must confirm any appointment in that regard. So we had in Nigeria never had a time when, to the best of my knowledge, when an appointee of the president for the position of INEC chairman was not confirmed. But with the law allowing for that approval, if in the event there is no approval, it just signals that the Senate is not at home with who was brought, and in that case, another reappointment need to be done. But we have never had such experience in Nigeria, to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. The other thing that I would sort of appreciate your comment on is that after the name of Amupitan was put out there, there are those, well, you know, that is how it is. The internet is made up of all sorts, especially on social media. There are those who say that, this man, we know him. He headed up Tinubu's defense when he had his case. Well, some people have been fact-checking that particular part. And indeed, one paper, at least, Cable has done a check, a fact check, and has said that Amupitan, INEC chair nominee, was not part of Tinubu's legal team at the election tribunal. You heard that. What would be your comment on bringing that up and for fact checks to now deny that anything like that actually happened?
My comment is that, well, I would say Nigeria being a very vibrant democracy, people will have opportunity to say their mind, but it has to be done judiciously. The right to, with this, I think we have just crossed the first leg of his appointment. It has not even reached the second leg, which is the confirmation by the Senate. And if I understand very well, what was on the internet is already a petition that was presented to the Senate. And I think what, as Nigerians, we need to, at this stage, be concerned is that if that petition have been received by the Senate, we believe they will do the needful, thorough background check to see the facts that have been laid down as petition against him, so that it will guide them in their decision whether to confirm him or not.
Yes.
But for the different, journalistic investigation, yes, I have seen some that have already confirmed that he is not. But at this time, you have people at both debates. But I want to allow the system, I think Nigerians should allow the system to work, since this petition is even lying down before the Senate as we speak. And it will be, preempting or delving into an issue which is before the Senate to decide. So I think my confidence would be there with them as representatives of this nation to do the needful with that. So I think we should be rest assured as Nigerians not to continue, towing it this side and the other side, because after all, it will come to rest. And whoever is not, at home after it, we have the last resort in the end if it didn't augur well for the petitioners.
Okay. All right then. Mazi Okoroafo, thank you very much for holding on. Go right ahead now, please.
Good morning, good morning again. Honestly, sir, what is you bring here when you say to cry for as INEC chairman, people complain. That is Nigeria for you. But the question is, the litmus test for the new chairman is this Mr. Anambra coming up next week. That is where Nigeria will test ability and capacity as a professor of law, as a professor of investigative law, professor of fact. This is what Nigeria should. That's what Nigeria should keep watch the November election in Anambra. This will determine all these Viva, all these voters apathy, all these disappear with buses, all these pictures of the system is not working. That is what Nigeria should be waiting on and check whether its own system will be different. Because we have to allow somebody to do something before we start complaining. But there's no need of complaining now. But even now, as Nigeria, there's no situation to take. If you know you cannot absorb criticism with pass or no with pass, don't take government job. Any type of job, even in the office where you are, even the job you are doing, people keep it that is why we are human beings. My own prayer is that God will help him, give him the grace to do the needful. At least do the job that he has been given. Religiously, judiciously, we stay free and transparent in all the elections throughout his tenure. Good morning, Sir Yuri. Good morning, my brother, and good morning, everybody.
Thank you very much, Mazi Okorwa, for calling out of, well, I don't know where Mazi was calling from, but thank you very much for calling. The other point that I could quickly bring, imagining that everything goes as expected, goes well, the professor who is the candidate for chairman of INEC, his specialization is said to be commercial law, and I believe I've heard it written, I've seen it written, that he also is an expert in the law of evidence. These aspects of his professionalism and his erudition, they're supposed to benefit INEC. Can you imagine that being a commercial lawyer and also an expert in commercial law as well as an expert in the law of evidence, will this serve him well in his job, all other things being equal?
I think, yes, they will add up to his pedigree already, because this has specialization as we speak. Not to forget that when once a lawyer, one is first in various fields, especially at the undergraduate level. So the question of evidence, I think, is very, very critical when it comes to issue of election, because normally elections here are contested firstly at the polling units and booth, but mostly they end up in court. And that's why even the Electoral Act 2022 was very innovative in the area of evidence, when there is a section that try to allow that where the document explicitly shows that there is an inconsistency that is very glaring and clear, there will be no need for oral witness to testify. I'm just bringing some examples.
Yes.
But this aspect, I think, is still in the incubation to reach its final, object of the lawmakers in that regard, because we have interpretations on it, which I think we have to follow and see how it goes. So I think it will add up greatly in terms of evidence, because a lot of elections end up in tribunals and are decided by the court. The commercial law aspect you talk about, I think, is very, very important, because this is a social aspect of life. And you see, commercial law has to do with a social aspect of life. So I think it will give him, added advantage in how he deals with a lot of competing people, because in politics, you have competing parts, everyone to his interests, just like in commerce, that everyone is adhering to his, and the law is there to broker a viable, thriving place for each to succeed on account of his efforts. And I think in that regard, well, commercial law expertise can be a great advantage.
Well, thank you very much, Malam Umar Aminu Kalgo, public affairs analyst and legal practitioner. We really do appreciate your time this morning. Thank you once again for joining us.
My pleasure, Mr. Folori. I'm grateful.
All right, then. Okay, so that's our program today, then. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.